It's good, Jamie. Thanks for asking. Little cold, but we're getting through it.
Nice. So I mentioned Arsenal on the rise. Do you think that they've figured it out under their new coach, Unai Emery?
Yeah, I think they have. They're on a 20-game unbeaten streak now, 15-5-0 in those 20 games. And at a point, they had won 11 in a row in all competitions. And that's something Arsenal doesn't do. They normally lose a game to a Brighton or a Newcastle down the road. But it seems like they've figured everything out. In 16 of the 20 games that they've had on this unbeaten streak, they've scored 2 or more goals. And in 15 of those 20, they've only allowed 1 or less. The defense seems to have it figured out. The offense seems to be scoring goals. And that seems to be the recipe for Arsenal as they're on this unbeaten streak. Have good wins against Tottenham, Bournemouth on the road, which is always a tough place to play. So it seems like they have everything figured out. That Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang, Lacazette, the Henrik Mkhitaryan, that whole squad, the offensive attack there, seems like they're firing on all cylinders, and that can only mean good things for Arsenal going forward.
Very true. And also mentioned Man United, they're struggling, currently in 8th place, 8 points out of a top 4 spot. Can they make that leap into the top 4 by the end of the season?
I'm going to say it's going to take a lot for them to get there, and the biggest thing is probably sacking manager Jose Mourinho. He's really the issue with this whole team. If you've watched any of this season or any of his tenure as Manchester United manager, the teams just don't play to their strengths. Defensively is the way he wants to play, but his center backs, despite signing a new one every single year, have been pretty awful. And they don't play much of an attacking style of football until they get down. They've had to come from behind in the last 2 matches, one of them against the Southampton team that currently sits in 18th place in the relegation zone. Things are not looking up for Manchester United. 8 points out of 4th place behind Arsenal, who's sitting there. 18 out of 1st behind Manchester City, their crosstown rivals. Lots going to need to change, but if they keep giving Jose the keys to the car in the transfer window, not much is going to change because he's going to keep buying players that they don't need, and it's going to cause problems for Man United. And I think it's going to be a bad result at the end of the season.
So say they did crack that top 4 eventually, which one of the current top 4 do you think would be most likely to somehow drop?
I think at this point it's probably either Chelsea or Tottenham. Chelsea only because they've had a bit of a struggle of late, losing a couple games, lost to Wolverhampton last night, which is a team that was just recently promoted, as you know. And they've been struggling. It's really no rhyme or reason to it either. No matter who they play there at center back or who they've put up there at attack, the really only big thing is Alvaro Morata. He hasn't been able to score the goals for them in the 2 or 3 years since he's been there, and that's really been the issue, not giving Eden Hazard any help up top. So I think they may have be one of the teams that may drop down, or Tottenham, who, dealing with injuries, dealing with stadium issues, could be another team that could be faltering as they move into their new stadium, hopefully, in the new year.
All right, Gino, thanks for joining us.
Anytime. Thanks, Jamie.